Yes, I can teleport. I have teleportation powers. Hello there. If you didn't answer that the way I wanted you to, you were ignoring me. You don't know who I am. Unless my mom talked to you about me, which maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I wouldn't know. I've never actually been in this building before. Well, my mom, on the other hand, might be your aide.
Oh, couldn't it be me? I really don't have any problems.
Whoa! What did you just say? Are you implying that having a learning disability automatically removes your worth as a person? You are not very good. Just kidding. You're an amazing person, probably. You shouldn't have to be afraid to admit that you need an aid. Because let me tell you something. I, too, have a learning disability. That's right. The person you're seeing on screen has autism. And maybe ADHD. Probably ADHD. I don't know, though. And I absolutely love it. Because I may be easily distracted and have a slower thinking time, but it's allowed me to become more creative, so yeah. If you're afraid by being judged by your peers, I'll tell you why you don't have to be. Because I survived middle school as an autistic nerd. For all the people who have judged people for having problems, let me just say, the real problem is your toxicity. You are the last person anyone needs approval from. You want to know why? Because you are the voice in the back of my head that tells me to yeet my phone out of the freaking bus window. Stop it! You know who you are. Don't try to hide it. Instead, you should try to use this opportunity to learn from your mistakes before it's too late. Somehow. Listen, there's two types of people on this earth. There's the people that look back at themselves when they were in middle school and go, "Geez, I was that person." And then there's the people who grow up to be the next Jake Paul. Hey, listen, you don't have to listen to what other people say you should be. Be yourself. Unless you're a bad person, then don't be yourself. Eventually, people like you will start to notice you and be friends with you. Actual friends. And if you're afraid of being judged by the popular kids, what are they gonna do? Force a bunch of other kids to act like they hate you? Pathetic. When I was in 7th grade, I moved to the place that I live in now. I had joined a friend group of a bunch of guys, but I don't think that they acknowledged me at all. I just sat with them at lunch every day, doing whatever I was doing. But then, one day, Corslyn came along. She appeared to have a lot in common with me. I still sat with those guys at lunch though, because back then I picked up on nothing. But as time went by, I slowly drifted away from my fake friends and started hanging out with Corslyn more. She introduced me to two other people, Harry and Reagan. The point is, I now have a group of friends that I still love and hang out with to this day. Because I just continued to be myself, and then people like me found me and loved me. Like I said earlier, I love my autism. However, it does hinder my abilities a little bit. I have a hard time focusing on things because my attention span is the length of time it takes for Usain Bolt to run full speed across the smallest room ever made. It also takes me a long time to think about things. You know that one comic that's like, "I've taken a controversial new pill that accelerates my brain. So you're smart now? I'm stupid faster." Autism is the opposite of that. We're smart, but slower. You know what I mean? It's nothing to be ashamed of because it allows us to be more creative. We pay less attention to the things that the rest of society deems important, and we pay more attention to the things that the rest of society deems nothing to be worried about, or whatever. I made an entire helmet design inspired by the pattern on a wooden pantry that was less visible to most people. Okay, maybe not less visible, just less noticeable, you know. If it makes you feel better, here are some celebrities that have autism. Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, Elon Musk has been theorized to have it, and even John Cena! Now let me immediately say something to prevent things from happening. Don't pretend to be something just because it seems like a popular thing to be. A lot of people pretend to have depression and anxiety because it seems like a popular trait to have. Same thing with people pretending to be introverted. There are also people that pretend to be gamer girls. Because of that, people who are actually introverted or anxious or depressed, or gamer girls, will be seen as by some people as attention-seeking fakers. You guys have given bad YouTube critics some bad argument points when criticizing storytime animators.
Seem to have the same awkward, look at me, I'm an introvert personality on their channel.
This is all your fault! Before, the reason introvertism seemed so popular is because it was all over the internet, because introverts are most likely to use the internet. Which means that people thought it was popular, so they pretended to be that. I'm saying this because I don't want anyone faking autism after this. If you say you have autism, you better have autism. Otherwise, you would give people who actually have autism a bad rap because they will think that they're faking it just like you. Let's talk about trend grabbing. Attention seekers are everywhere, and I can't relate to them. I hate attention. Of course, there are obviously some outliers, but in general, I don't like people drawing their attention to me. But you know what I hate more than attention? You wanna know? People who are addicted to it. Attention seekers will do anything to get attention, no matter what the consequences are. And I mean, no matter what the consequences are. And as you could imagine, it gets very frustrating. The first one is represented by a person jumping off a cliff to get attention. These people will injure themselves or harm themselves in a very bad way to get attention. But at least they got attention. Yay!
Now what?
Second consequence is, say someone is in a state of agony, and this other person sees them and pretends that they're also in a state of agony for attention. This time, the consequences hurt everyone else around them, but not them. Let's talk a little bit about the first consequence. A good example of this, it would be a person that is notorious for not being that good. They do a lot of things that will get them hated by the internet. Their mindset goes like, if I do something that people will hate me for, then I'll be all over the internet. After all, it's better if people hate you than if they don't know you, apparently. That is not true. Okay, let's talk about the second consequence. A good example is what we talked about before. People realize that if you have problems, or at least if people think you have problems, you'll get a lot of attention. What they don't account for is that when people try to help them, it will be completely pointless. And then, if enough people do this, people will realize that this is happening, so they'll stop helping people who say that they have that problem. And that hurts the people who actually do have that problem. But the people who started it won't care because they got attention from it. If you do this, you are very selfish and you need to stop. Let me end on this note. I know most of you are all trying to be cool or loved by most people. But that doesn't have to happen, because at the end of the day, you're in middle school. I describe middle school as the time of your life where God throws scenarios at you to grow from. Nothing in this grade really matters, unless you realize that you need to learn from your mistakes. Then, everything matters in this grade. It simultaneously matters and doesn't matter, because it matters because you need to learn from them to grow as a person, but it doesn't matter because people need to realize that people at that age are not as matured as adults are. Okay, so those are all the things I really wanted to say to you guys. You can end the video right now unless you want to hear me do the epic YouTuber chants. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. We've done it. We've summoned the Almighty Being. Clout giver. I am Clout Man. Clout has been bestowed upon you, I think. Yes. The channel finally has more subscribers, potentially. Now you have to upload regularly so you don't lose your potentially existent subscribers. Boing! Oh no. Who could have foreseen this unforeseen consequence? I did. Shut up, Frank. I told you not to say I didn't tell you so.